Hey class, it's Jacob again. Just reminding you that your personal philosophy of leadership essay, you should be starting on that. It's a 10 to 13-ish page paper plus a bibliography, and so it's not a small assignment. It is one that I will be looking at the format. I will be looking at things like grammar, is it well written, and those types of things. For your book reviews up to this point, I haven't really been doing that. Just basically get it in. Have you read the book? Are you following the actual format that the syllabus is asking, which is actually very basic and simple, just a few questions. You got those down, you basically get your A. With this final paper, we're going to be looking at things in a slightly more academic fashion, and so please do your best on it. I'm not a hard grader, but at the same time, I do want to see you doing your best to stick to the excellence that is known at Southeastern. And so if you look at your student handbooks, there are examples of how a formatted paper should look like. The example I'm going to show you is, this is an SBL. Southeastern falls more along the lines of Turabian, but SBL is just an offshoot of Turabian with slight modifications to make quoting scripture and those types of things a little easier. But your title page, you want the name of the institution, name of the class, your professor's information in class, and then your name at the bottom. You want to start off, again, the section heading should be very clear. It should be very clear where you're starting a new break in the paper. If you could make sure to use footnotes, use a lot of them. The more the better. They do, and this is kind of such a long time ago. I've been in the PhD program for such a while. You don't want spaces in here. I think they've changed that, but again, just refer to your style guide. But you want to use footnotes to keep your paper organized. Sometimes there's information that you want to include, like in these notes here, that are relevant to the paper, are good side information, but at the same time it might clutter things up and make it a bit more difficult for your grader or your reader to get through. The footnotes, they are included in the page count, so if you have a lot of them, it kind of helps in some ways or another. For the content of the paper, very important. You have a lot of amazing things that you've learned in this class. And so you want to start off, again, this paper will be anywhere from 10 to 13-ish pages or so, plus a bibliography. And so you want to start off just like the syllabus tells you. Stick to the syllabus, you'll do fine. In the introductory paragraph, though, please state your thesis or your personal philosophy up front and then restate it in the conclusion. Very good habit to get into whenever you're writing a paper. You want to state the thesis up front and then restate it in the conclusion. It can be as clear as saying my thesis is, or my personal philosophy of leadership statement is. Something along those lines where it's very obvious for a tired professor or grader to pick up immediately and just be guided by as he or she reads your paper. In your first section, the biblical theological analysis, keep it to a biblical theological analysis. You're talking about how scripture and theology influence your philosophy of leadership. And so we're not looking for, a worldly perspective, although a lot of the times God uses those things and whatnot. We want to use scripture and theological principles to kind of give us a roadmap to why we developed the particular statement for leadership that we came to. The meat of the paper, the middle part of the paper, your reflection on personal development, that's 6 to 7 pages. That's where you can just really share personally about how God worked in your life to develop you as a leader. You can use personal examples and those types of things. So in this part of the paper, you don't have to be super academic. Obviously, you don't need footnotes and references and stuff. But it should flow. It should read well. It's just a really good time to reflect and to retrospect on how God has developed you as a leader. And again, in the last page, your conclusion, you want to, again, state your personal philosophy of leadership as a Christian. 10 to 12 pages, 13, if you go a little long, plus a bibliography. Dr. Strucker has, shared many experiences and gone through many authors and gone through scripture with you guys, and continue to learn from him. And this paper will be something you can look back on in the future and say, wow, God really did open my eyes more to his calling on my life as a leader, and I was able to hash through that through a biblical theological lens. And hopefully that's developing not just your philosophy of leadership, but how you view the world and view ministry in general. And so God bless you. Don't be stressed out by this paper. Try to get it in on time, and I'll do my best to get it back to you on time. All right, God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your classes, and have a great day.